Rippy, I'm over here in Carthagena, Ohio, along the US 127, Mercer County. So Carthagena has a massive, size-wise, Catholic seminary built somewhere circa in the 20s. Out here, kind of a settlement with a dairy farm and everything, self-sufficient and all that. There's a national cemetery, I think a military cemetery back there. The cemetery here, I think, is for this church. And then the three brothers that were killed in the farm accident were over to my right, laid side by side. Just harvest time, I think last year even. And yeah, really, life can be very tough, and so isn't death. But so this land was all up here, you know, and then the English came and all that. How the story goes through the 1500s, but in the 1820s, this land was settled, and right here, and these are the people who settled it. This is the historic cemetery, the original settlers of this area, because yeah, the Catholics came along in the 20s, or 100 years ago, but 200 years ago, in the 1820s, the people came here. They named this area Carthagena. You know, you just don't hear that name every day, and they're buried right here. The people that they came from Carthagena. And Carthagena is Africa, and this is a black cemetery, and they were slaves, and they were hauled over here to work, and then the slave owners set their slaves free. They didn't even sell them. They trucked them out on barges and things. And from Virginia is where the slave owners, they were out there picking tobacco and everything, and cotton. But the slaves came, the emancipated slaves came to Cincinnati, Ohio, and there was a lot of friction. So they came up here, they bought a couple hundred acres. And then, I mean, this sign kind of gets into part of it. And the reason why I'm here is because of the Juneteenth, and I suppose it was related to slavery. You'd think, you know, there would be a party here this weekend, but these people are forgotten. The story's long gone. This is the tip of the iceberg. It talks about there's 70, I think, blacks buried here, but the one guy bought. There was riots in Cincinnati back in 1829. They were Protestant. Is that what I'm seeing? I'm not sure. But anyway, 600 people own more than 10,000 acres. Yeah, but whatever, they were homesteaders, and it got too tough for them. And the slave owners in Virginia didn't know what to do with their slaves, so they put them on flat cars up the canalways to Carthagena. And when they got here, they being the slaves, hundreds of slaves, I'll say, I'm just guessing, the people told them they couldn't get off the barge. They had enough, and it was a black poorhouse for the orphans and everything here. Originally, this was a black settlement, is what I'm saying, and it only lasted 100 years at the most, and it got so tough when they rejected the new residents coming that they had enough. The blacks, I'll call them, they decided to sell it to the Catholics, and they went to the city. And they left Carthagena, and the Catholics came in here with an idea, and it didn't work. They didn't even last 50 years. This isn't what they thought it was going to be. They moved it all to Chicago, I think it was the idea, and then they were left. It was, you know, you've seen people buy them and they end up with 3 or 4 new cars, and they're never satisfied. But I'm sure the Catholics would tell you that they're just doing fine. And yeah, there's a pipe organ back there. It's massive. The facility they have back there but just to let you know that yeah, Carthagena is a town in Africa. And here we are. It's basically in the middle of a cornfield. And yeah, it's nice too. Beautiful. Happy Juneteenth.